And for those who don't know me, I'm Jen Pasquale, and I'm the founder of Pride and Grit, which is a community really focused on seasoned spouses and the needs of that particular kind of subset of our larger military community. And so today we're going to talk about the event that we're planning just for you. So before I get into the details of the event, I want to take a little bit of a step back because I know everyone may be coming to this from sort of a different understanding about the community that we've built. But I want to really talk about kind of why the seasoned spouse in particular. And a lot of times I get the question, well, what's a seasoned spouse? Who am I seasoned? Am I not seasoned? And the reality is that's really a personal question. But I think for me, how I really look at that is folks who would consider themselves in kind of that final season of military life. That could be 8 years, that could be 5 years, that could be 5 weeks. It really is about when you really are starting to kind of make that shift to wanting to think about what happens after military life and what that looks like. And everybody arrives at that at a different point. But the reality is, I would say if the things that we're talking about for this event resonate with you, then you're probably in that season pocket. So that's why we're really focusing on the seasoned community in particular. So that's who we're doing it for. Let's talk about why we're doing this. So I have spent the last year really talking to different seasoned spouses, trying to get a sense, was I the only one who was feeling the way I was feeling? Were those just like me in a vacuum? I'm the only person. And what I quickly realized as I've talked to more and more seasoned spouses and even retired spouses who say, yes, that's exactly how I felt in those last handful of years. And the way that people are talking about that is there is often kind of this idea that we're supposed to have it all figured out, right? We're the older people in the crowd. We're supposed to know what we're doing, and we're maybe not supposed to struggle openly. And I am very much a proponent that those things are not how we really honor ourselves and even how we teach others the best way to honor themselves. So I am very much a proponent that we need honesty in this little pocket in this community. We need some vulnerability. We need people to feel like they're safe to really talk about how military life is hard, but then also be able to be supported to move through that well. And so that's what I kept hearing as I talked to more and more seasoned spouses is they really felt like there wasn't a lot out there that was targeted at them and really focused on understanding where they are in their lives and what some of their unique challenges might be as they begin to think about life beyond sort of the military community. So that was what kind of led to where we are now. And then where we are now is like COVID, right? So what it provided is this really unique opportunity to leverage some of the tools that are out there to make interactive virtual events a thing. And I've been able to attend a few of them, and I've been floored at how much interaction you can actually get and how much you can really connect with people, even though you're not sitting across from them at a table. So this is, I think, in some ways the perfect time to be able to leverage all of that and be able to come together and build community, and really help you through that kind of pre-transition. I've said a lot of times to people, I've talked about this event, that I feel like that transition for service members, we know that's really hard. There's tons of data on the fact that that's really hard for service members. And unfortunately, what happens is because there isn't a lot of support for spouses before that transition happens, we end up with kind of two people in a household trying to find themselves at the same time, which to me is just the hard way to do it, right? So what I'm trying to do is provide the ability for people to maybe invest in themselves a little before their service member starts that transition work so that one of them is on solid footing and has a sense of what they want to do after this life and feels like they're sort of ending this journey strong as opposed to ending it. I see friends sort of falling across the retirement line really, really tired. And I want to see people really walk across that line tall and strong and kind of knowing what's next for them. So that's all the backstory, but let's get into the details. So the event is a 2 day, as I mentioned, interactive and virtual event, but this is not a passive event. This is really you showing up, really participating in the self-discovery that's going to come from this. And so I'm really excited about that part of it because this is really about us digging in and having some of the hard conversations because I think that is where we learn, that's where we grow, and that's where we connect best. So the event is April 17th and April 18th. It is a weekend. So this is really your opportunity to kind of tuck yourself away, take some time for yourself to invest in yourself. So the first day, Saturday the 17th, is a 6-hour day. So it goes from 11 a.m. to 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern. And the way the format for that's going to work is we have 3 amazing keynote speakers that are going to kind of walk us through this journey. And those speakers are going to focus on topics of personal identity. That's a big one, right? I heard that again and again and again, that's a place where sometimes people feel like they probably are maybe a little stuck, and could definitely use some guidance and some ideas and some community around sort of building out that personal identity. We're going to talk about marriages, because the reality is, if you're in this season pocket, you may have been married a while, and there is kind of a cumulative effect that happens with military life. It's hard. And being able to give you some tools to really look at what does that look like before that transition? How do we really transition proof our marriages to ensure that we are we're in a good place and we can enter into that particular time in our lives strong and really as a partnership. So we have an amazing speaker who's going to talk about that. And then we also have a piece on family. So we're going to really look at what are some of the things that our children are struggling with? How do we help them? And just get some tools from a mental health professional that's really deep in this space and can help us do that. So I'll mention a couple of names. You may know them, you may not, but you're soon going to meet them for sure, because I'm going to be talking about them a lot. So Dr. Patrice Carter is going to help us with our personal identity conversation, and Dr. Shauna Springer, who wrote the book Warrior and has a very deep knowledge set in relationships and transition, is going to help us through that marriage conversation. And then Dr. Ingrid Herrera-Yee is going to talk us through kind of that mental health piece and really supporting our kids well. So those are our 3 amazing speakers for that first day. And what's really unique about how we're doing this is I'm providing space in the agenda for really conversation, because I feel like that's where the magic happens. And that's really where the learning and the being able to lean into each other happens. So what we're going to do is I have life coaches, military connected, so they understand where you're at. They understand what it looks like. They are going to be sitting at each of the tables. So if you sort of picture like a traditional conference hall, there's a table, you're sitting at it with 6 or 8 other people, and there's a life coach. And she's going to really walk us through what did we hear from the keynote? What does it mean to us? And how do we use that information in our lives? So we're going to do that after each of the keynotes. So you're going to have an opportunity to take what those speakers are giving you and really figure out what it means to you, how you apply it, and learn from how other people see that as well. So we'll do that several times throughout that day. And then Dr. Carter is going to also wrap us up at the end of the day, and she's going to kind of give us that, okay, now what? What do we do with what we know? How do we sort of develop our action steps? So that's our amazing day 1. Day 2 is shorter. So that is from 1 to 5 Eastern on Sunday. And many of you may know Corey Weathers, who I absolutely adore, which is why she's part of this. And she wanted to be. But so Corey is going to come in and do a Strengths Finder workshop. So I want to talk to you a little bit about Strengths Finder, because it was, for me, absolutely transformational. So there's lots and lots of assessments and personalities and, assessments and all that. We know that. Strengths Finder, I found to be one of the best I've ever taken. And the reason is it really helped me understand not only what I'm strong at and what is really kind of comes easy for me, but also what I'm not necessarily, I won't say good at, because Corey wouldn't agree with that, but just the things that kind of take more out of me. And so by being able to really understand both ends of my personality spectrum, I was able to really give myself some grace around the things that I've always kind of struggled with and wondered why. How come everybody else can do this, but I don't do that well? And so now I understand, oh, okay, that's just not my strength, and that's okay. And so part of what Corey teaches us, particularly with this military spouse lens, is, okay, these are these things maybe we're not so great at. How do we leverage the things we are good at to make those other things happen? And that for me was the part that was just eye-opening and like the favorite thing I've invested in the last year was my effort going through that process with her. So that is the whole crux of day two. That is what it's all about. It's all about your personal development, finding your strengths, owning your strengths, and really seeing how you can use that to drive, everything. So those are the 2 days. I'm so excited. It's going to be amazing. So I know, like everybody wants to know kind of cost and all of that. So pricing wise, all of this is on our website, which you can find. It's at prideandgrit.com/evolve together, which in all my nerves, I forgot to mention that the name of the retreat is Evolve, because I definitely feel like as seasoned spouses, we are in this season of evolving. And so we're going to do that together. We're going to evolve together. So prideandgrit.com/evolve together. And you'll find all the details, but I'll give them to you, which is the full day. So both days, day one and day two, is 127. So when I say that, I want you to keep in mind that the Strengths Finder is on its own a $50 assessment. So there's no really way for us to get around that. So that's $50 that you're getting as part of this whole package. So 127 for the 2 days. And then if you've already done the Strengths Finder work, or you just really feel like that's not your thing, or you just, whatever the case might be, I wanted to make sure you could still participate. So there is an option to just do the day one, and that's 97. The 127 price is kind of an early bird, so that's going to go up in a few weeks. And there's already some folks who've grabbed that were on our wait list. So we're really excited to have some folks already signing up. So that's that. The other thing I'll mention real quick is if you'll also hop onto our website on the main Pride and Grit page, you will see a place to, just after this, I'll put it up, but you can sign up to get any updates and make sure you're kind of, in the know as we're announcing the more about the speakers. We're going to talk about our sponsors. All of that information you can find through that sign up. So give me a few minutes and then I'll throw it up there for you. What else? Oh, sponsors. So I would be remiss if I didn't mention our sponsors because I'm very excited about this. So we have USAA that is helping us out. We have Caliber Home Loans that are both helping us out. USAA is sponsoring our personal identity talk, and Caliber Home Loans is sponsoring our marriage talk. So they have committed to those and feel like those are important to us and to them as a partner. So that was I was so excited for that. Boldly, if you're familiar with Boldly, Boldly is going to also help us out as an additional sponsor. So very grateful to our 3 sponsors that we have so far, and that's that. So I am excited that you guys came to hang out with me. I really appreciate it. To find out more, check out prideandgrit.com/evolve together. We look forward to seeing you there.